Nantucket experienced pivotal changes during the 1960s, but none felt as far-reaching as the reconstruction of the downtown wharf area and the subsequent influx of artists and artisans that rejuvenated an art colony born a half a century earlier. Nantucket Looms owners Andrew Oates and William Mueller worked at the core of this transformation. They played a key role in the restoration of an aging Grand Hotel into the renowned Jared Coffin House. They evolved a weaving studio at Nantucket Looms into an influential local furnishings business. Andy and Bill's vision for a life well lived, epitomized by decades of collecting quality crafts as well as fine arts, fueled an island lifestyle based on beauty and simplicity. The Loom story begins during the winter of 1962 when the Beinecke family dined at the Woodbox Inn. They were on friendly terms with the inn manager Bill and his partner and head cook Andy, and that night Mary Ann Beinecke sparked a dialogue that the two led to a lasting relationship. One evening the conversation turned to planned projects that might help build the economy of Nantucket. Mrs. Beinecke mentioned the possibility of a weaving workshop on the island, and that she'd hoped to find someone who had a knowledge of weaving and fabric design to manage and teach. Andy offered his expertise honed at Black Mountain College under master weaver Annie Albers, while Bill moved into a position managing the Jared Coffin House. With these moves, the two men emerged as vital figures in the rejuvenation of Nantucket during the 1960s and 70s. In 1962, the Nantucket Historical Trust formed the Cloth Company of Nantucket. The company and its two affiliated divisions, the Needlery and Nantucket Looms, founded by Mary Ann Beinecke and managed by Andy at 16 Main Street, where crafted bedspreads, draperies, rugs, and placemats were made exclusively for the Jared Coffin House restoration. In 1965, Nantucket Looms produced home furnishings and fashion fabrics for Tybach Fabrics of New York. The weavers in Nantucket, said Tybach chairman Charles Burwell, are producing fabrics of the highest quality. On April 1, 1968, Bill and Andy assumed ownership of the inventory of Nantucket Looms to continue as a crafts business at 16 Main Street. Upon assuming ownership of Nantucket Looms, Bill and Andy expanded the business by introducing a gift shop that sold classic products like their whaling shirts with ivory buttons and woven alpaca throws in pastel hues. In the 1970s, they offered accessories for the home as well as locally made crafts including baskets, tapestries, pottery, and paintings. Bill and Andy established a special rapport with their artist consignees, mentoring artisans and fine artists alike. They often collected exceptional works that were exhibited in the store. When Nantucket Looms began to take on more and more clients, its influence spread beyond Nantucket shores. Fabrics were designed for the LBJ Library in Austin, the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., designer Billy Baldwin, and planes owned by IBM and Mobil Oil. Andy's linen and ramie fabric was honored as one of the top 10 textiles of the 20th century. Famous customers included Bunny Mellon, Princess Grace of Monaco, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, and most of our country's first ladies since the 1960s. In 2014, after both gentlemen had passed, the Nantucket Historical Association and the Artists Association hosted a joint exhibit where much of their artwork was on display. The exhibit, titled A Life Well Lived, was a representation of the curated life Bill and Andy had created and a tribute to those that they had supported. Nantucket Looms would never be the same the day that Bill and Andy hired Liz Winship to become a shop girl in 1974. Initially hired for one season, Liz remained with the business for 45 years. Throughout her time with the business as manager and eventually owner, Liz cultivated and nurtured relationships with hundreds of island artists and customers alike. She expanded the shop offerings to include home furnishings and added a full interior design department. Today, Nantucket Looms' legacy has been carried on by Stephanie Hall, Liz's longtime protege and lead designer, Rebecca Perriner, master weaver, and Bess Clarke, Liz's daughter, who proudly uphold the business values of beautiful, purposeful living and warm, friendly service. People often say that they know a Nantucket Looms home when they are in one. There are elements such as neutral to white color schemes on the walls, natural wood floors, hand-woven textiles, rustic furniture paired with upholstered contemporary pieces, home decor that includes folk art, bird decoys, ceramics, boat models and crafted baskets, and fine art displayed with locally produced works. As the business continues to grow, Stephanie, Becky, and Bess remain committed to sharing timeless Nantucket elegance, nurturing local artisans, and supporting their beloved island community.